Hey, Kadra Joe Gore here for apophatic fooding. Apophatic, an unusual Greek word that talks about what God is not. So we talk about cosmopolitan issues, big subjects, and look at them from perspectives of what they're not used to looking at them for. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, a guy named Voltaire, Katie Bryan, everybody's got interesting points that we could all benefit from, all while we're cooking great stuff on apophaticfooding.com. Welcome, Kadra Joe Gore here in Da Dome, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, the center of the magnetic universe. You're going to get so smart listening to this program. But today, apophatic fooding, the two parts are always the fooding, which is easy. We're going to be doing beans times 16 and rice, the perfect complement. But for the apophatic, the critical thinking part, two little subjects. You may have heard of them. Global warming and politics. Two subjects, not the politics of global warming, but we might touch on that. Concept is going right ahead to the food part is I've had beans cooking for, let me get some magic up here and get the insert. Ain't that cool? So we've got beans soaking last night, a bag of 16 types of beans. They actually call it a soup. Let's see if I can get this into this picture. Oh, actually, right there. It's good enough. They actually call it a soup. I don't use it that way. There are no rules in life, and especially not in the kitchen. You may want some rules on climate change, but we'll show it to you on how to make a better idea in that area. So 13 beans, I even exaggerated, but that's enough. Now, if you want to use one bean, you can of gazebo, black beans, any kind of beans you want, or take 2 or 3 cans of stuff, depending on the volume that you're cooking for. It's really about the same. It's beans and rice. Beans and rice combined will produce basically all 9 of the essential amino acids, which are pretty important, which is what meat is famous for, a lot of those proteins. So you can push away a lot of meat like I do by having the classic meat and rice dishes. Now, let's go real quickly into the largely cooked, but still al dente, a little too firm beans. So I'm going to put some, you can eat canned tomatoes, chopped, whole tomatoes if you want, but I'm going to go right in with a tomato sauce, add some more flavor and nutrition. And although it's not necessary, a premium organic tomato. How could it hurt? We talk about organic costing a little bit more, but when you buy the stuff on sale, it's the same price. Now, for the rice, you can, of course, cook rice like you normally would, 2 times the water, and then the rice, and cook it for something like 30 minutes or until the water is absorbed. Not a bad idea. But to save time on television, we're going to go with a pre-cooked, parboiled rice and organic. And we're just going to have to heat it up and put a little water in it, and that's just as nice and good. So but to bump it up, see, I almost never accept it the way it comes out of the box, basically because I like to spend time in the kitchen and play with food. So get some onions into the rice. Get those guys working. And always the stinking rose, garlic. So a little bit of oil, get that in there. It's hot already. Let me cool that down and make the cameraman go chase that, but there's really no reason to. Voila! Caramelize those onions for flavor. Sweeten them up a bit. Then what we're going to do now is a little garlic. And then a little more garlic. And then a little more garlic until you run out of time. Remember from one of my other programs, the only time you stop putting garlic in is when you run out of time, when the dish is complete. Sometimes that might be an exaggeration. Sometimes it might not. Voila. Now, again, what's the rules? Because I'm a green nut. I like green everything. If I had kale today, which I don't, there'd be kale going into this rice. But try some Brussels sprouts. Pull off the outer layers, which are either dirty from growing them, the earth. Well, what do you know? Who's been touching these things before they got to you? Donald Trump is germaphoid. He don't like germs. Oh, cut these guys up. Get them off the high heat for a minute while I'm working. You don't have to go chasing everything with that camera necessarily. And not only makes rice look beautiful, you know, if you had some carrots or some red peppers, and in fact, if you've seen one of the last programs where we did this and that and a bunch of veggies, let me see if I can even go over see if there's anything left of them, which is not hardly any. But this is good. That's a testament to cooking when it's all eaten up. So now we get the pre-cooked rice in there. The directions are you really just don't need to do much more than heat it up. Put a little bit of water in. And if I were better prepared, it'd be more like a broth to add even more flavors. Let me see if I can steal a fork off camera. You know, while this stuff is kind of working, we said we were going to talk about global warming or climate change, really. Seems to be like a passionate item where if somebody weren't tweaking your personality on that, it's like you wouldn't even think about it. Because it's basically a non-subject in the big picture. Got that going in there. I don't know what you guys learned in elementary school, but about in the 5th, 6th grade, back in PS7 Public School 17 in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Where'd that phony accent come from? So, we were told about ice ages. The Earth is what, how many? 4, 5, 6 billion years? Never has one year been the same to the other. It's always been changing the climate. Thank God, because it produced us. I don't know why there'd be little lavas around in the ocean or whatever. So if it's always been changing the climate ever since the universe existed, now that you and I are here in the year 2015, we want it stopped? Well, it's your fault that there's climate change. Duh. Right? Who's telling you these things? Do you ever stop to do any critical analysis, thinking? Now, you and I are not scientists. We kind of can't go out and measure the ocean and all that. But, you know, if all the scientists are owned by the governments of the world, which directly or indirectly they are through the universities, well, hello, who's paying the universities? Just think sometime. And what good is carrying around this load that because I'm here today driving my little white car, I'm destroying the earth? Climate change. You know, and some morons are trying to kill this gas. It's got to come from somewhere. It's not free. Do I want it to cost 10 times what it costs me now? Because some Yahoo wants to make a fortune on that stuff. Well, can't even remember his name. The big guy with a rear end about the size of a Mack truck. Oh, what's his name? The guy who ran for vice president. Al Gore. There you go. You can talk. I'm not here alone. I got a whole crew of one helping me out. You know, Al Gore. I mean, what a joke. Unless you're just embedded in. Sometimes you won't open up to a new idea because, holy mackerel, do I have to admit that I was wrong, that I was taken? Even though every piece of logic, everything I apply to every other part of my life, I use reason. And this one, I just fall into this guy's concept of global climate change and global man-made warming. No, it's been changing forever. What's not true about what I just said? Has it been changing forever? Do you want it to stop changing now because you're here now? Talk to me, joe@apophaticfooding.com. But talk civil. Type in capitals like I'm talking loud. You can do that. But don't tell me where to go, because it don't exist. Subject for another show. All right. We are looking good on climate change. I want to hear your idea. Now, beans, 16 beans, all the jokes. Beans are good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. So eat those meals with every bean. Did he say that? Well, not television, you can say that. They give you gas pains, some people. Think about adding a little bit of beans to your diet, where if you don't hardly ever see them now, except when you go out to a taco restaurant or something. Add small amounts, side dishes. Your body gets used to it. It won't bloat you or have you blowing out the windows. So think about that. You know, now, gas pains. Gas pains make me think of politics. Politics gives me gas pains. It really does. I mean, we talk, now there's this turmoil. I want to date the show because I hope 100 years from now, people are watching this and say, Donald Trump, who? And, you know, Donald Trump making such a big noise and affecting the politics of not only the GOP, but he's got everybody just shivering because he's talking truth. He just says it in plain language rather than, and anybody who's dares try and choke him up, he just told him, tell me what's not true about what I said. Don't try and give me a guilt complex. So, long ago, before Donald, I had a simple solution to the political problems. Everybody who's in office, vote him out. No exceptions, no rules, no extensions, not tomorrow. Not, oh, this guy's good. Oh, he brings it. But here's the point, the bigger picture. You want to solve a problem? You're out of here. And then the next 2 years later, there'll be another local election. Everybody's out. Throw the baby out with the dishwater. Yes, because the issues are too big. They're not going to be unemployed. These guys crooked as heck. They're not going to be, it's not like you're laying off a street sweeper. Get them out. Now, to anybody who comes in, if he only got one vote because everybody else voted against somebody else, he knows, if I ain't doing it right, I'm out. And in just a few short years, rather than everybody complaining in 30, 40 years about this, no immigration wall, no this, spending too much money, climate change issues, 30, 40 years of the same garbage, they get in there and give you nothing. To put you on welfare, if they give you food stamps, they denigrate you, they command your vote, they make you give up your identity. Anybody, do you think it's free? When all of a sudden you got to jump to their hope? Doesn't work that way, my friends. So that's the politics, and there's a lot more to talk about. But on the few subjects, of global warming and getting rid of all politicians now. You know, one of the arguments, oh, you're getting rid of the experience. Oh, you can't. These guys know what they're doing. They built the system. No, you know, like every other corporation, it's really the second, third, fourth tier of management that's running a company. These yo-yos are figureheads, and they're the ones stealing all the money. So don't think that your fire department is going to go not responding to fires, or your police ain't coming out, or your licenses won't be issued if you get rid of your mayor. It ain't going to happen. Joe at apophaticfooding.com. Talk to me. What's not true about what I just said? And no emotions. Give me some meat. Give me some critical thinking. Give me some facts. Make believe you're Bill O'Reilly. Just crush them with facts. Oh, did I just expose myself? No, I'm okay. The king has clothes. All right. What do we got here? How do I make this happen? Where's my bowl? Oh, isn't this kind of wonderful? How many forks can you have without spoons and still make a show? Hello. Oh, hi. Joe Gore here. Codger. That's not Brooklyn Dodger. That's Codger. Look at this. Get some of this stuff in here. Look, let me get this over to you. Let's see what we got going here. This is yummy. Now, it's all vegetarian. Wonderful. The earth will love you. You'll reduce global change if you eat like this. But you want to put a piece of meat, some chicken, whatever you like, pork, etc. I'm going to get rid of some magic here and just show you what's left here and taste it. Now, before we taste it, we also need to be conscious of the forces and the people it took to get this food in front of us. I'm thankful and deserving. And that is interesting to do before each meal. Just relate to where all this came from. Can do this. Can do this. I'm a nut job. I can have this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Put a fried egg on the side. Now, there's always the subject of wine pairings. Not pear wine. The fruity stuff. And what did I find? I found an apophatic red wine. I looked closer. No, it wasn't apophatic. Apodic red. So I never tried it before. I got the cork worked out. Isn't that music to your ears? Get some of this water out. Apodic red. Gotta look that up. I think it's a section of Greece. Ching-a-ling-a-ling. Nice. Nice, round, heavy, mellow. Not a connoisseur, but I am alive. I do taste. One more of this, and we're going to send you on your way. Talk to me. Joe at apophaticfooding.com. You be well, enjoy, and feel well. Ciao.